Eric Elwood's Connacht ended a 4-match losing run with a convincing victory over the Dragons at the showgrounds. The Welsh side, playing their third game in 11 days, never really got into it, and Connacht were ahead as early as the 3rd minute. Dan Parks was their top scorer on the night. He opened his account with a well-struck penalty. He added another 3 points in the 8th minute when Dragons were penalised as Connacht pressured their try line. The Welsh side struggling to keep Connacht at bay. They infringed at the breakdown, and Parks was reliable with the boot. 6-0 to Connacht at that point, and then midway through the first half the hosts got their first try of the night. The Dragons scrum failing to come to terms with the more powerful Connacht pack, and eventually saw referee Andrew McMenemy lose patience. He went under the posts to award a penalty try. That left Parks with the simple conversion to make it 13-0. With 27 minutes on the clock, man of the match Dave McSharry made an impressive break. His pass found Kiwi George Neopu, who crossed over for a well-worked try and extended the home side's lead to 20-0 after Parks converted. Dragons troubled the man operating the scoreboard for the first time when Tom Pridey kicked a penalty. That was just 2 minutes before the break, and it left it Connacht 20, Dragons 3 at half-time. On the other side of the break, Pridey was again accurate with the boot, reducing the margin to 14. But it was Elwood's men who pushed on from there. McSharry again played an important role. He cut through the Dragons' defence before offloading to Danny Poolman, who crossed over for Connacht's 3rd try of the evening. And Parks converted from a difficult angle to make it 27-6. The match was effectively won. The question now was, could Connacht score one more try for a bonus point victory? It wasn't to come, although Parks brought his personal tally to 15 with a good drop goal. Frustratingly for the home support of just under 5,000, it was the Dragons who got the last try of the match right at the death when Jonathan Evans went over in the corner. Final score at the showgrounds: Connacht 30, Dragons 11. The sold-out signs were up at Ravenhill tonight for this top-of-the-table clash. Ulster welcoming many first-choice players back after last week's defeat by Munster. Great expectation for the home faithful, but it was the visitors who took the early initiative 9 minutes in. The referee penalised Nick Williams, and Alec Thomas comfortably slotted the penalty over. 3-0 to Scarlets. 2 Ruan Pienaar penalties nudged Ulster 6-3 ahead after 34 minutes. And then a couple of minutes before the break, after good work by Luke Marshall on the left, the ball came back inside. Scarlets once again lacked patience in defence, and when the referee blew for a penalty, Pienaar was accurate with the boot to make it 9-3 at half-time. Just 4 minutes after the break, the Ulster men cut through the Scarlets' rear guard. Herring timed his pass to Robbie Dyack perfectly, and the South African number 6 ran under the posts unopposed. Suddenly there was daylight between the sides. When Pienaar converted, it was 16-3. Ulster were rampant now, and on 56 minutes they scored their 2nd try of the night. Quick thinking by Williams close to the Scarlets line saw the man from Auckland drive over despite the best efforts of the Welsh defence. 24-3, and that would become 26-3 when Pienaar converted. In the 67th minute, Josh Turnbull broke the Ulster defensive line and charged over for an excellent try. Thomas converted to make it 26-10. Scarlet's joy was short-lived though, and Ulster moved into overdrive. Try of the match in the 73rd minute. Andrew Trimble going through after great work by Heaney, Jackson and Cave in the build-up. 33-10, and 3 minutes later Ulster clinched the bonus point with a 4th try, a penalty try, after Alec Thomas's deliberate interception from the offside position. He saw yellow. Ulster were now 40 points to 10 up. With Scarlets leg weary, there was still time for Ulster to add one more try. Substitute Neil McComb, who'd replaced Dan Toohey, getting over from close range. 47-10. There was a consolation try for Scarlets right at the death when fresh-leg substitute Adam Warren raced through for a smart finish. That left it 47-15, and that's how it ended. Ulster reassert their dominance at the top of the table. Final score: Ulster 47, Scarlets 15.
Ronan O'Gara became Munster's most capped player when he started this game, his 234th appearance in the colours of the province. An important night as well. A win for the home side would see them back into the playoff zone. In a cagey first half, the visitors broke the deadlock in the 11th minute. Munster penalised for interference at the line-out, and they were made to pay for their indiscretion. Rhys Patchell successful with the penalty to make it 3-0 for Cardiff. However, it was 3-3 after 22 minutes. The Cardiff scrum was under pressure. When it collapsed, the referee, Nigel Owens, said penalty. And as so often he has been, Ronan O'Gara was clinical. The sides were level at 3 apiece. After a very low-key first 40 minutes, the second half started brightly, especially for Cardiff. Winger Owen Williams cut through the Munster rear guard with ease to cross for the game's first try. You can see why he's represented the Wales 7 side. A top try for the 21-year-old. Patchell converted to give Cardiff a 10-3 lead. Straight from the kick-off, Munster were given a chance to narrow the margin. Scott Andrews, substitute, collecting in an offside position. A penalty was awarded, and O'Gara notched his second of the game, closing it to 10 points to 6. Just past the midway point in the second half, Cardiff had a glorious opportunity to extend their lead. Jamie Roberts made a wonderful break and did everything right except his final pass to Williams outside him. Unfortunately for them, the pass was forward and the chance went a-begging. But very soon after that, Cardiff did cross the paint. A tremendous piece of opportunism from Irish number 8 Robin Copeland, showing that he has pace. Munster couldn't stop him. And that's the big number 8's first try for Cardiff. Patchell still had a lot to do with the conversion from the left-hand side, but he was accurate, and it was 17 points to 6. In truth, the home side rarely troubled the visitors after that. Cardiff win away to Munster for the first time since 2007. Final score, Munster 6, Blues 17.
It was a hugely significant night for Leinster, with the return to action of the three-line trinity of O'Driscoll, Carney and Fitzgerald. Edinburgh with the unenviable task of trying to stop them. And Michael Bradley's side started well. Indeed, 18 minutes in, it was Edinburgh who broke the deadlock. Greg Laidlaw slotting it over for a 3-0 lead. Midway through the first half, and Michael Bradley's side were ahead. Brian O'Driscoll showed occasional flashes of what he's capable of. Only a stiff-arm tackle from Alan Jacobson stopped him here. Johnny Sexton levelled it at 3-3 with the resultant penalty. A low-scoring first half sprang to life 6 minutes before the break. From the line-out, Leinster's maul was try-line bound when David Denton deliberately brought it down. The referee awarded a penalty try, and Denton was sent to the sin bin. That score seemed to break Edinburgh's resolve somewhat, and just before half-time, Leinster struck a significant blow. A well-worked move eventually saw Cian Healy feed Gordon Darcy, who raced over from wide on the left to give the visitors some breathing space. Before half-time, Laidlaw landed a straightforward penalty to make it Edinburgh 6, Leinster 17 at the break. Into the second half, Edinburgh went on the attack, and when Piers Francis landed a successful drop goal, the margin was down to 8. Then, in the 57th minute, a significant moment. Leinster substitute Shane Jennings did superbly well before feeding Sexton, who crossed for Leinster's third try. It was Sexton himself who converted, and that made the score 22-9 in favour of the visitors. 15 minutes from time, Heaslip was binned for killing the ball under the posts. But within a couple of minutes of that, substitute Ian Madigan crossed over for a try, despite Leinster being down to 14 men. It also ensured a bonus point win. Edinburgh were down but not out, and before the end, front rower WP Nell raced through for a try. The ex-cheetah, perhaps not quite as quick as a cheetah, but there would be no stopping him, and the home supporters had something to cheer. Piers Francis converted to leave it 16 points to 31, and that's how the game finished. With the bonus point win, Leinster moved back into the playoff zone.
Glasgow coach Gregor Townsend will be delighted with the performance from his side against Treviso. The Scots knew that they couldn't slip up at home to the Italians, and they didn't disappoint. Right from the off, they were on the front foot, forcing Treviso into an indiscretion that was penalised. And man of the match, Rory Jackson, kicked the Scots in front 3-0 just 4 minutes in. The visitors didn't help themselves. As early as the 6th minute they were reduced to 14 when Manoa Vosawai saw red for a spear tackle on Ali Kellogg. Referee Leo Colgan with no hesitation in sending the flanker off. On 20 minutes Jackson added a second penalty. Then 5 minutes later came the first try of the match. A controlled Glasgow attack. Tommy Seymour's chip through was gathered by DTH van der Merwe, who crossed over for his 8th try of the campaign. Jackson converted for 13-0. Shortly after that, the home side extended their lead to 20-0. Treviso had no answer to Glasgow's slick movement. Fullback Stuart Hogg going over after Ryan Wilson had sent him through. Hogg's first try of the league campaign. There would be no way back for Treviso from that, and Jackson's conversion was top class. Glasgow's dominance was further emphasised just before the break when a moment of individual brilliance by Tommy Seymour saw him charge all of 90 yards, leaving the opposition in his wake, the sort of try supporters love, and it gave Glasgow a 27-0 half-time lead. Treviso did get a score on the board 12 minutes into the second half. Glasgow may have taken their foot off the pedal, and lock Francesco Minto went over for a try, which was converted by Chris Burton. A small lifeline for the Italians, but it wasn't to be. Glasgow needed another try to guarantee a bonus point victory, and it eventually came 7 minutes from time. After the ball was fed wide to substitute Nicola Matawalu, he did very well on the wing, putting on the afterburner and sprinting clear to clinch the all-important 4th try of the night for Glasgow. Substitute Duncan Weir, who had replaced Rory Jackson, added the conversion from wide on the right to leave the score 34-7. And further gloss was put on the result for the home side when Hogg crossed over for his 2nd and Glasgow's 5th try of the night late on. Treviso coach Franco Smith will be really disappointed with some of the attempted tackles by his men. It was all too easy for Glasgow in the end. A final score of 41-7, and with that bonus point win, Glasgow goes 2nd in the table.
Wel, y gwelch wedi elyddio Richard Fussell mlaen i'r canol. Tom Isaacs i basu yn yr hanner cyntaf gael ei thorri allan. Dyma fe yn neud fyny am siom y cyfnod hwnnw. Y gwelch o'r diwedd yn codi hwyliau. Ffotwel i hi mlaen hefyd yn yr hael hanner. Bigger yn ei chwipio hi mas i Jonathan Thomas. Mae yna ddynion ar gael. Ross Jones at y dwyr Hugen yn camu nôl tu fewn. Mae'r cais bownd o ddod. Bigger sydd yna.